Have you ever felt like your entire world collapsed the moment someone stopped loving you? That feeling where silence becomes heavier than noise, where every memory becomes a wound that never closes? You sit there wondering, how did something so beautiful turn into something that hurts this much? The truth is, what breaks you isn't love itself. It's the illusion that someone else was the foundation of your peace. You didn't just lose a person, you lost the version of yourself that only existed through them. Somewhere along the way, without noticing, you made them the center of your emotional universe. You gave them the power to decide when you smile, when you sleep, when you feel alive. You thought you were sharing love, but what you were really doing was outsourcing stability. Your happiness was built on borrowed ground, and when they left, the floor gave way. We call this heartbreak, but in truth, it's identity collapse, because you were not grieving only their presence, you were grieving the reflection of yourself you found in their eyes. You were grieving the safety of having someone else hold your chaos for you. And when that container disappeared, all that chaos came rushing back home. You try to escape it. You scroll, you drink, you talk, you run, but the truth always catches up. Because what you're trying to avoid isn't them, it's you. The part of you that doesn't yet know how to stand on its own. Emotional attachment often begins with beauty. It feels like connection. It feels like belonging. But beneath that sweetness hides dependency, the quiet belief that you cannot be whole without another person. That belief is the seed of suffering. You see, our emotions are powerful, but not always truthful. They react not to reality, but to our interpretation of it. When you feel like you can't let go, you're not clinging to a person. You're clinging to a story. The story in which they were your missing piece, your cure, your calm. But stories can lie. And sometimes the hero you thought would save you was only ever meant to reveal what still needed saving within yourself. So, what do you actually do when your heart feels torn apart? You stop running. You stop searching for replacement or relief. You sit in the discomfort, because pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher that whispers, "Build again," but this time build within. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It means learning to care without collapsing. It means holding love in open palms instead of clenched fists. It's saying, "I can love you, but I will not lose myself for you." And yes, that's hard. Because dependency feels warm. It feels safe until the day it disappears and takes your peace with it. So you have to ask the hard questions. What part of me did I place in their hands? What need did I expect them to fulfill for me? Maybe it was validation. Maybe it was purpose. Maybe it was the illusion that you finally mattered. Whatever it was, you can reclaim it, but only by facing it. This is the moment where detachment begins, not when the feelings fade, but when you decide to stop negotiating your worth. When you say, "I am allowed to miss you," and still move on. That sentence alone is an act of power. Every time you resist the urge to chase, every time you sit quietly instead of seeking distraction, you are rewiring your soul. You are telling yourself, "I am capable of holding pain without breaking." And that right there is emotional strength. People will tell you, let go. But letting go is not a single action. It's a transformation. You don't just drop a person, you evolve beyond the version of yourself that needed them to survive. You outgrow the story. You reclaim authorship. You learn to breathe again on your own terms. And the beautiful irony is this: when you finally detach, you can love more purely than before. Because you no longer love out of fear. You no longer hold someone because you're terrified of being alone. You hold them because you choose to, not because you have to. That's what it means to take back your power, to realize that peace isn't found in possession, it's found in presence. To understand that love without boundaries is not love, it's surrender. And to accept that your heart was never meant to be rented, it was meant to be rooted. So yes, you will cry. You will ache. You will wake up and feel the emptiness sitting beside you. But one morning, you'll also notice something else. The air will feel lighter. The silence will no longer scream. And you'll realize the pain didn't destroy you. It rebuilt you. It made you aware of the strength you forgot you had. Detachment doesn't turn you into stone. It turns you into steel, shaped by fire, unbreakable by loss. You stop fearing endings because you've learned they're beginnings in disguise. You stop clinging because you finally trust your own hands. And when that moment comes, you'll look back and understand you were never losing them, you were finding yourself. Detachment isn't coldness. It's reclamation. The moment you stop chasing what's gone, something powerful begins to rise within you. It's quiet at first, a small voice whispering, "I'm still here." That voice is your real self, the one you silenced beneath years of dependency and noise. Now it's asking to be heard again. This is where the real journey begins. Not in forgetting someone, but in rebuilding yourself from the inside out. You see, emotional detachment isn't about losing feeling, it's about gaining foundation. It's about standing so firmly in who you are that no storm can tear you from your center again. To rebuild, you must reorder your inner world. You must place truth at the top, because without truth, every emotion becomes a lie. Truth tells you what is real and what is illusion. It reminds you that not everything that feels good is right, and not everything that hurts is wrong. Truth is the compass that keeps you steady when your heart trembles. But truth alone isn't enough. Next comes responsibility. Responsibility means you stop blaming the world for your suffering. It's saying, "My healing is my duty." It's the moment you realize no one is coming to save you. And that's not tragedy. It's liberation. Because once you accept responsibility, you take back the pen that writes your story. You stop being the victim of circumstance and become the creator of meaning. And then there's discipline, the physical manifestation of your values. Discipline is waking up even when your heart feels heavy. It's sitting with your emotions instead of drowning in them. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Every small act of discipline says to your mind, "I am no longer controlled by impulse. I am guided by intention." Through discipline, you transform chaos into order, and that order becomes peace. This is what a structured identity looks like. It's not perfection, it's direction. It's knowing who you are and where you stand even when the world around you shifts. Most people never build this kind of self. They live reactively, their mood controlled by messages, and their self-worth determined by mirrors. Their direction is borrowed from the crowd. But when your identity is structured, you no longer drift. You move with purpose, anchored in principles, not emotions. Ask yourself, what do I truly stand for? What virtues define me? Who am I when no one is watching? Because identity isn't what you say, it's what you practice. You become courageous by doing what's hard. You become trustworthy by choosing truth when lying would be easier. You become confident not by pretending, but by confronting what scares you and doing it anyway. The deeper your identity is rooted in truth and responsibility, the less you fear loss, because loss no longer shakes the core of who you are. You can love without possession. You can care without control. You can let go without collapsing. That's not detachment. That's mastery. But understand this: building yourself is not a one-time act. Life will test your foundation again and again. You'll meet new people who tempt you to repeat the old pattern, to trade your power for comfort, your peace for attention. And every time you feel that pull, remember, comfort is not the same as connection. Approval is not the same as love. Relief is not the same as peace. True peace comes when you no longer seek to escape yourself, when you can sit in silence without reaching for a distraction, when you can feel sadness without calling it failure. That is emotional freedom, the ability to experience fully without being enslaved by what you feel. And yes, it will take courage, because rebuilding the self means walking through the ruins of who you were. It means confronting your own chaos instead of running from it. But chaos isn't your enemy. It's the raw material of transformation. It's the fire that forges character. If you meet it willingly, it strengthens you. If you avoid it, it controls you. That's why the hero doesn't hide from the dragon. He confronts it. He steps into the dark forest not because he is fearless, but because he knows there's treasure buried within the danger. That treasure is self-respect, clarity, and peace. When you face your own dragon, your insecurity, your loneliness, your fear, you stop being the victim of your story. You become its author. And that's when freedom begins. So what does it mean to take back your power? It means you stop waiting for apologies to heal you. You stop expecting closure from others to move forward. You stop outsourcing your worth to validation or attention. You rise. You rebuild. You reclaim. Love no longer feels like dependency. It feels like choice. You don't chase what leaves. You bless it and continue your path. You don't fear solitude. You use it as the space where wisdom grows. You don't need constant reassurance, because you've learned to trust the quiet strength within yourself. And when that happens, when your peace is self-generated, and your happiness no longer depends on anyone's permission, something changes inside you. You become unshakable. Not untouchable, not cold, but deeply grounded. You can walk through loss. and still smile. You can face rejection and still remain kind. You can love fully and let go freely. That is emotional sovereignty. That is what freedom truly feels like. You don't lose yourself when you let go. You find who you were always meant to be.